Hello my friends and welcome, my name is Dennis and this is the latest update from Ukraine. It's gonna be the short video dedicated to only one topic. Ukraine lost F-16 together with the pilot. I already told you in my yesterday's video that definitely there could be the probability that Ukraine definitely lost F-16. And now it's been officially confirmed by the Ukrainian Air Force. So at first there were some of the rumors from the Ukrainian MPs. Later on the particular MP decided to edit his post because that information was spread by the Russian side that Ukraine definitely lost at least a pilot. So at first I think Ukrainian officials decided to hide this information for a while. So this post by Igor Polishuk, which was shared by the Russian side, was actually a truthful one, and later on this official just cancelled this part, deleting it in the new message, which was edited. So the Ukrainian F-16 pilot Mes Alexei Sergeyevich really lost his life performing a combat mission, so during the flight. So yesterday I told you that if this information correct, it means that Ukraine could have lost also F-16 airplane, or it's better to say fighter jet that was delivered to Ukraine just recently. And this is the picture of the pilot inside the cockpit of F-16, Lieutenant Colonel Mes Alexei Sergeyevich. How old was he? Well, I don't have that information. So what do we have in the mass media report? This incident occurred on Monday, so 3 of the days there was no official information coming about this accident, because after all it was the aviation accident. Russian fighter jets or Russian air-to-air missiles didn't shut down that airplane. The airplane just crash landed on its own. How it happened, I cannot tell you, at least for now, but let's see some of the clues. Probably we're gonna find them. Actually, I'm filming this video, guys, because this topic is close to my profession, because I'm the pilot myself. Not the military pilot, commercial one, and the private pilot, but I know something in aviation. What we know, that plane crashed during the massive shelling by the Russian army of Ukrainian cities' infrastructure. So this particular airplane was used as the air defense tool, with air-to-air missiles hitting cruise missiles. In its article, the Washington Post refers to the officials of the United States, not the Ukrainian officials, and for sure, officials of the United States, military officials, they know the details because Ukraine provide those details to them directly. So I would say it's a good source of the information, and they say about the pilot error. So initially we don't have the report that something went wrong with the airplane itself. This is the first loss of F-16 supplied to Ukraine by the Western countries. Yes, it's obvious. Also CNN citing sources writes that pilot died in the crash, so we have reports from 2 of the independent sources. Yes, and now it's been confirmed by Ukrainian Air Force, so definitely it happened. The publication calls the death a great loss. Indeed, it's not just the loss of the pilot or the airplane, it's the reputational loss for Ukraine, because those airplanes have just been received by Ukrainian army, and almost immediately after a few weeks we have the crash. Also, only a small number of the pilots in the country have been trained to fly F-16s, so it's double loss. Here they say that Ukraine was asking for the very long time of the supplies of those fighter jets, but finally received the permission in 2023. This part is not really related to our case, but what we know, that 10 of the fighter jets were delivered to Ukraine, so now those are 9. This is the Russian news source RIA Novosti, and here they just state the fact that the airplane crashed. And they also stated that the Russian sources report about it yesterday. Yes, I also reported about it in the reference to the Russian sources, but I was waiting for the final confirmation, at least from the Western side or from Ukrainian officials. Now we have everything. And here again they say that Moscow views the transfer of these fighter jets as a deliberate signal to NATO in the nuclear sphere. So they think that those airplanes may carry nukes. Indeed, they may carry nukes, but Ukraine is out of the nuclear weaponry. By the way, guys, I'm on a ground news. It's not the paid advertisement as usual, but nevertheless I'll share the link for the news just for you to check out all of the articles from all of the news sources. As you see, I use it every day and it helps me a lot. Unfortunately, I cannot open the original article from the Wall Street Journal because I'm not really willing to pay for the subscription for their website to check out their articles, because later on we see those articles on other sources like Telegram for free. If you check out the Kiev Independent article, it's the Ukrainian source. Here you may find also the information that the crash was likely a result of pilot error. If it is a pilot error, there also should be reasons for it. The Ukrainian military pilots never ever in their career flown those kind of the jets which are made on the West, and they have different philosophy compared to the Soviet-made airplanes. I may compare my experience in commercial aviation. So at first I started to fly the Soviet-made airplanes, and also I've flown the transport airplane Antonov 26. Later on I got the type rating on the similar aircraft ATR 72 and 42. And I may confirm that the philosophy is totally different. Even the flight instruments are different. For example, if you got used to fly with the Soviet-made artificial horizon, you might have the illusion with the Western-made. On the Soviet or the Russian-made artificial horizon, the aircraft symbol moves relative to the horizon bar, so horizon is basically fixed. In the Western-made flight instruments, the horizon bar moves relative to the aircraft symbol, so it's vice versa. And I got the illusion personally because I got used to fly this one. Then your bank is high, you want to increase the bank even more, so it's very tricky. I got it 2 times during the transition from the Soviet-made airplane to the Western-made airplane. And I didn't fly a lot on Antonov 26, a little bit more than 100 hours. But if you fly your entire career on this one, well, it could be very difficult. And we're speaking about just one flight instrument, just one system. There are many more differences between the Russian or Soviet-made airplanes and the Western-made. The philosophy of the flight itself is different. I'm not saying that this was the result of the crash, no, it's just an example. But obviously if you get this illusion very close to the ground, you can crash the airplane. And this is the statement of the Ukrainian Air Force Command. They definitely confirmed that Alexei Mast died defending our country, defending Ukraine. Alexei destroyed 3 of the cruise missiles and 1 attack drone while repelling a massive Russian combined air and missile strike. You know, after reviewing today's case, I recall the situation which happened in 2022 with one of the Ukrainian pilots on MiG-29. The pilot's name is Vadim Voroshilov, nicknamed Karaya. So what happened that day? He was on a mission to shut down the Russian drones, Shahed drones. So he was approaching the drone from behind and he launched the missile. But the Shahed drone is much slower compared to MiG-29, that's why he was approaching very fast and missile hit the drone very close to his own airplane, to his own MiG-29. The missile hit the drone but also significantly damaged the airplane, and Karaya had to eject from it. Was it a pilot mistake? I think so. Or you may call it the pilot error because definitely he was in a very close proximity to the drone to fire that missile. But you know, 2022 was the first year for Ukrainian pilots to perform a real combat missions. So obviously there were many of the mistakes. But was it the same mistake this time? It's hard to say. I'm 100% sure that Ukraine will never ever publish the details about the crash. At first there are lots of the propaganda factors which play the role. Propaganda is coming not just from Russia but also from Ukraine. And there are the questions now rising in the air whether Ukrainian pilots who were trained on F-16 are capable to perform their missions. Because this particular mission wasn't conducted near to the Russian border, the F-16 wasn't fighting against the Russian fighter jets. The mission was to shut down the cruise missiles which fly in a quite stable trajectory. They don't have the air defense. I mean, they cannot fight back against F-16s, but nevertheless, Ukraine lost the airplane in this mission. Guys, I'm telling you about it because definitely there are some of the questions coming. And it is a big reputational harm, first of all, for Ukraine. And also for Ukrainian allies because they train Ukrainian pilots. Yes, I'm not a military pilot and I don't know lots of the stuff in military and also tactics, the actual battle fight, but I think that it's not normal to lose the airplane and pilot like that. I'm telling you the story as it is, but with my personal comments. Alexei saved the Ukrainians from deadly Russian missiles, yes, if he shut down those cruise missiles, unfortunately at the cost of his own life, which probably could be avoided because from the initial report the airplane was fine, but again there is the chance that it wasn't fine. We're gonna find out later on, but again not from the Ukrainian sources, we're gonna see it in the Western sources and as usual on Telegram. Alexei Mast was a strong loyal soldier, a high-class pilot, a leader of the ground and in heaven. Maybe the translation is wrong here, the skies should be. Alright, you may just stop the video to read all of that stuff, but there is nothing concerning our case, I mean the real cause of this tragedy, of this aviation accident, really. Glory to Ukraine, glory to heroes, and glory to pilot Alexei Mas, who lost his life, unfortunately, because of this war. And this is the funeral procession of Alexei Mas, and here are some of the Ukrainian airplanes, MiG-29s, in the sky, paying tribute to the soldier. One more reason of the F-16 loss could be a friendly fire from the Ukrainian air defense. As it happened, for example, with one of the best Ukrainian pilots, Alexander Aksanchenko, at the very beginning of the war. His airplane Sukhoi 27 was shot down by the Ukrainian air defense over Kiev. He landed his airplane in the swamps of Osakarki within the border of the Kiev city, but unfortunately he lost his life. So the factor here was the friendly fire, and it wasn't just a single case. There were many of those. During the recent attack, Russia used many of the drones, many of the missiles, so Ukrainian army used the combination of the ground air defense systems together with the airplanes, fighter jets, to shut down everything of that. That was shut down actually. Some of the missiles and drones made it to their targets, but definitely Ukrainian air defense was successful that day, hitting many of the Russian cruise missiles and drones. But in particular case with F-16, mission unfortunately failed. I hope that this situation will be analyzed by Ukrainian military command and also by our Western allies. Maybe they would need to change the approach for the training of the Ukrainian pilots, because the case showed that definitely there is the problem. So obviously investigation should be conducted, also American specialists should come to the place. And I think that we'll have to wait some time before knowing the reason from the Western sources. I'm sure that they will publish this information in one of their reports. As for the Ukrainian Armed Forces and the Air Force, the information is usually classified, and you saw how Ukrainian officials didn't want to confirm this information at first, and only after this information was published in the big media sources like Wall Street Journal and Reuters, okay, the Ukrainian Air Force confirmed it. Yeah guys, sorry about the bad news for today, but I also have to speak about this topic too. I think it's important to find out the truth, why it happened, to avoid the same or similar mistakes in the future. Anyways, my friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.